Koala on all social media platforms, and today we'll be deep diving on all things health and wellness related. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. As you can tell, I'm very sunburnt in the majority of places. Very sunburnt here, all over here. I'm not going to take my shirt off, but dirty dog, don't think like that. But my belly is very burnt. It's quite funny. I don't think I've ever had a belly button tan. But I do now. So, quite strange to have that feeling, but nonetheless, plenty of vitamin D, plenty of sunshine, plenty of all that, you know what I'm saying? So, it's been a very fun, eventful weekend. Back at it, back with work and all that stuff. Very, very eventful weekend. A lot of travel mishaps, but it's fine. We worked through them. It's okay. I've had chicken dinners today. Hell yeah. Today's episode is going to be about machines and free weights. Now, let me paint you a picture. You are a beginner in the gym. You don't know what to pick. You walk in, there's a whole side just full of random, nifty, cool machines that have a bunch of fixed range of motion. You have no idea what any of them do. You get daunted by that. You look over to your right, you see 16-year-olds back squatting their maxes, curling all the dumbbells, and you're confused. You don't know what to do. You don't know, which one should I do? Which one? Should I be like the 16-year-olds? First of all, no. Should I use the free weights or should I go to the machines? They both look really cool. They both look different. Which one's best for me? Today, I'm going to tell you. It's going to be a lot more simple than you think. And it's most likely going to be the answer that you think it's going to be. Like with most things. But today, I want to go over the pros and cons of each, and then why you should do both. Because it's not necessarily a conversation of which one's better. It's just a conversation of what's better for what. And in most cases, with most things, it's good to have all different angles and all different... Whoa, pause. It's good to have different perspectives and different variety in whatever you're doing. So, I'll start off with the free weights. So, free weights are really, really good because they require more control. Because, okay, I was going to get into a different tangent, but that's going to ruin the next point. So, they require more control, so that means that there's higher muscle engagement from core and stabilizing muscles within the muscles that are working around. So, for example, in a chest press, a dumbbell chest press or a bench press, it requires more muscle engagement than a machine chest press because the bar has the ability to move in any range of motion that it pleases if you don't control it. So, if controlling it down or controlling it so it doesn't go in any other direction other than down and up, which is the direction that you want it to go, the muscles specifically in your chest and shoulder joints really have to turn on a lot for it to be able to stay in a fixed position. So it requires a lot of rotator cuff. That's why people get shoulder pain during bench presses or dumbbell presses, because those kinds of movements, if not done correctly, can cause injury because of the overarching engagement of the stabilizer muscles. So with that, if you progressively overload and you start smaller with smaller weights and progress movements periodically, it's going to help you build balance and coordination within those different movements. So same thing with like squats or any other free weight using movements. Free weight movements. You are going to get a lot more balance and coordination just in general because the body and the proprioception within the joints and muscles need to be better for you to be able to control heavier loads of the demand that you're putting it under. Because if you don't have the balance and coordination and you put 300 pounds on your back, you won't be able to hold it. You're going to fall on all different places and you're going to be unstable. So again, that's where the stabilizer muscles come into play. So they help you build that balance and coordination within each of the movements. There's a lot of functional carryover with these kinds of movements as well. A lot of these movements can be transferred into daily life, like deadlifting and picking things up from different places, goblet squats, overhead presses, horizontal presses, pushes and pulls. All of those movements have functional carryover to most daily life. I'm not saying that they have functional movements, whatever. That's because I know it's a buzzword recently, but they just have a lot of carryover to daily living. So these movements are going to be beneficial just for daily life. Because if you think about it, if you're trying to pick something up and you aren't trained and you have limited muscle, you don't have the balance and coordination to be able to pick something up, even if you pick it up with any kind of wrong movement, any wrong motion, that's where strained backs happen, slipped discs, all that kind of thing. And also, it can build up those muscles to where if you do that and you don't pick it up in the right way, you are stable enough to where it won't injure you. Like, I mean, I can bend over hunched and pick weights up like I do every day. Like, I don't try to do that every day, but some of the time I do it accidentally because I'm either tired or not thinking straight, or something happens, I just kind of do it quickly. I've built bases enough from free weight movements that to where my back and my internal stabilizers within my back, like my spinal erectors, are strong enough to where, yeah, I might get a little ooh, but it's not going to be any injury, and I'm not going to be out for 3 weeks or 6 weeks, or sometimes even bedridden, not that kind of stuff. So now, moving on to the cons of free weights. Like I kind of have alluded to with some of the things, it is a higher injury risk because of the stabilizers. If you go too heavy or you have the wrong form, that's where the stabilizer muscles can only do so much. They're small muscles. They're trying their best at all times, kind of like you are, and I'm proud of you. I'm always proud of my stabilizer muscles as well. But just flex my chest. I'm kind of all over the shop today, I'm sorry. But there is a higher injury risk within these because of the increased stabilization demands in the exercise, to where if you go too heavy or you just do it with shit form, your body just won't be able to handle the load that it's under, and then that's where pec tears happen, and that's where back spasms happen, that's where knees give out. They might not be like career ending, some of them might be, but if you do it to a drastic extent, but there is high injury risks in them. They're also a lot slower to master the technique of compared to machines, just because you have to have proper technique, proper form, and then the discipline to be able to understand that it's going to take a while to get to increase weight in most of these movements. Like free weight movements, especially shoulder movements, like you can't really do a lot overhead, to start. So you gotta start pretty light. And then you see people doing overhead presses with 225. You don't realize that they've done that kind of movement for 8 to 10 years. So it's a lot slower to get greater gains in load within each of the movements. And then they can also just be kind of daunting for newer beginners, like just within the weight room itself, because you see heavier plates and having the load plates and that kind of stuff. And then people who have done it for a while have a lot of plates on there, so it can be pretty daunting for new people. But I would just caution you to the fact that it's actually okay to start at the lower weights, because that's where they started as well. They only got to where they're at because they trust the process and they've been there for a while. That's the only thing I'm going to preface that with. Moving on to machines. So machines are the opposite of free weights, in which they're quite friendly and they're quite safe. They have a completely fixed range of motion, which is also a con, but it's fixed range of motion, so there's a very, very decreased chance of injury risk, because you can only go so far as the machine, and it can't crush you at all, and it can't land on you in any way. So that is it's a safety feature within the machine, so that they don't hurt you, which is a good thing. So you have a very, very small chance of getting injured if you do the right load. And honestly, at the same time, if you put too much of a load on there, it's very hard to even get most of the weight up for a rep because it's fixed. Like it's that weight. It can't move. So you can't do anything more than you can on a machine. Machines are also very, very good at isolating muscles. So they don't involve any of the stabilizer muscles because of the fixed notion of the machines. So it better isolates the muscles that you're trying to work. Like a bicep curl machine is very, very good at isolating the bicep, and that's it. Whereas a bicep curl also kind of involves a little bit of shoulder, depending on how you do it. It might also involve a lot of forearm, something like that. A good example of this is also in a chest press. The chest press machine is very, very good at isolating the pecs because you don't have to involve the stabilization of being underneath weight and having to control it, stop it from crushing your face. So it's very, very good at isolating just the chest. Machines are also very, very good for burnout sets or higher rep sets because with burnout sets, you can go till complete failure on machines, and you can also get a lot of half reps. You can push it as hard as you can without the risk of the weight falling on you in any bad way or causing injury in any way. And because as soon as you get to failure, the machine's just going to stop moving, and that's the end of the movement. So it's a lot safer than trying to go to failure on dumbbell presses, to where if you go too far to failure, then your body might just give out. And then for some reason all my examples are thinking of someone doing a dumbbell chest press. If you get a failure on a dumbbell chest press and you can't control it on the way down, then your arms are going with it. Because if you just drop it, it's going to land somewhere bad. So that's why machines are good for that. But again, they do come with cons. Like they do require less stabilization, which if you only do machines, that's pretty bad. Like having strong stabilizer muscles and strong core muscles are really good for you. Like you obviously don't want to just work those muscles, but having them being worked within free weights is really good just for general strength and also just general injury reduction. Again, when I talked about the range of motion, how it's fixed, it's a good thing for safety. But if you're trying to push to a extended range of motion, you can't, because you can only go to the range of motion of the machine. To the extent of the machine is as far as you can go. And also sometimes, because there are different kinds of machines, some machines just have really bad ranges of motion. Some machines don't have the range of motion that you're looking for because you have different body proportions. That's why pre-weights are good for that portion, because you can move the weight in any direction that you move it best. Like if you move best in a chest press with your elbows angled in a little bit, that's really good. You can do that. You can do it in any way in free weights. You can also change the direction, to change the humeral angle to target different parts of your chest. But chest presses are fixed, so you can't change how you press it really, unless you modify the machine anyway, which is just kind of wrong, right? And then there's also just less general carryover to most functional daily movements, because you can't really carry over machines to the real world unless you are operating a machine. So, which one should you do? Oh, surprise, both. You should do both. Free weights, again, are really, really good for building general strength, and also building the core stabilizer muscles, and you're able to get a lot of engagement from a lot of muscles. So I would generally recommend to do those first, and then to do your machine work, the isolation work, any other accessory work that you want to do after that, and do that at the end of the workout. And then you're able to better isolate muscles and better fatigue muscles at the end, to where you get the most benefit and the most bang for your buck. But I will preface that by saying, if you are a beginner, don't be afraid of free weights, but don't do too many free weights. You can also build a lot of general strength from just using machines. And again, I also would do say the opposite of where if you're an advanced or an elite lifter, I wouldn't avoid machines because you can throw around some weight on the machines if you get the right ones. So use them to your benefit and use within your programming, just fit in what you can. And also some days if one thing's taken, if all the free weight's taken and the other thing that's open is a leg press machine and you have legs, use the leg press machine. It's not too dissimilar. Is it similar in the fact that you're not using as much core stability and you're not using as many stabilized muscles within the hip or the knee? Yeah, but you're still getting the motion of the actual squat, which is what you're really aiming for in the movement. Having one of those in a week or having one of those in a month isn't going to destroy your squat or make you feel like poop. Just use the machine, bro. And like, same thing goes for the other way around. If a shoulder press machine is taken and you have to hit a shoulder press movement, hit some dumbbell shoulder press, hit a military press, something like that. They're not too dissimilar. They're working the same kind of muscles. They're just activating different muscle engagement, muscle recruitment areas within the muscles around it. So it's okay. And ultimately, that's going to have you set. So do I prefer one? Yeah, I do prefer free weights just because they help with overall general strength and healthy joints. But I do use machines all the time. I use a machine chest press on the weekends when I go to the intramural building. I use a lot of machines. I use a hack squat. I use chest press again. I use shoulder press. I use seated rows, like those kinds of things where cable machines, they're really, really helpful. They're really, really good for isolating certain things and just changing it up, adding some variety as well instead of doing all free weight movements. Otherwise, I do like free weight movements a lot and I do prefer them honestly, but if you just do them all the time, you're going to burn out really quickly. So that's it from me. Episode 31. Crazy, right? Episode 32 next week. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a doozy. I have already planned. I really like the concept behind it. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas for episodes that you want to see, let me know. Send me a DM, comment on this video, whatever you want to do. And hopefully you learned something today. Love you.